Have you ever wondered what was out there in the night sky? Stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you ever heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there's life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu, or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? What if tomorrow you were on the fringe? Welcome to another episode of On the Fringe. I'm Philip.
I'm Mark.
And as you can see, we have our part-time co-host Pam and Jess with us. Mark and I we're kind of lazy. We've had a busy weekend. And we just decided, you know what, we're going to do some paranormal news. We're going to discuss how the Paracon went, which I had an amazing time. And then, we figured we'd get Pam and Jess on because they're two of the biggest drivers of it. And then we'll just see where it goes from there. Welcome, Pam and Jess. Glad to have you guys back on again.
Thanks.
Glad to be here.
It's good to see you again while we're not so busy. Our hair's falling.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Pam, I'm glad you're feeling better. If y'all are listening, and just give Pam some healing prayers or energy or whatever you're into, and help her get to feeling better. She's kind of been down a little bit. So, first things first, do us a favor, check us out, whatiftomorrowmedia.com. Follow us over there. Help us out, help us grow the show. Check out our affiliates. We've got Duke Cannon. We've got My Patriot Supply, which we've got a big show coming Monday. Mark and I were talking about today, some things that have transpired in the news that we're just going to basically turn into a big show come Monday. That's a big deal. Make sure you have your food insurance. We've got EMP Shield, and we've got our merch on there, and I'm in the works of changing that up once I get time. Once Ben gets time, I've got to get a hold of him. It's just been crazy busy. I told Mark, we had Saturday and Sunday off. We took Saturday off for the Paracon and just took Sunday off. I had 2 days off, and I don't feel like I got any rest, dragging butt. Man, it's been a long week. Today just been a long week. So
today has been a long week. Yeah,
I know.
Hey,
Chris, how are you?
Hi, Chris. I was going to say, I don't think you had Saturday off. You were working on Saturday too, like the rest of us.
Definitely.
And Mark, I've got to come clean, man. I realized tonight, because I was going to share Alicia's story, and I accidentally deleted it.
Oh no.
Yeah, I accidentally deleted it. I went through because we were almost up to our storage limit on StreamYard, and I accidentally deleted it. I think I remember most of it, and it was a cool story. And her daughter's story, she told it during the Paracon, and she's talking to me, man, it threw up a red flag, and I got to thinking about it. I was like, oh crap, hold on, and she came back and kind of verified that's what it was. We'll go into that a little more later, though. Now for the paranormal news. Mark and I were talking, Pam and Jess. We think you guys need to start a paranormal news channel. As much research and stuff as you guys do, I think you do. I really do. Because, man, Mark and I are struggling to find just recent stories. Everything I look up, it's like 5 years old.
I think you just need to join some groups.
Maybe so.
Possibly,
yeah.
That's possibly true.
There's a niche that needs to be filled. So,
Pam and I listen to Astonishing Legends too, another podcast, and we're on their Facebook fans page, and they hop on it before you hear about it on national news.
Oh, really?
I hear a lot of stuff from them. Yeah, they'll hop on it fast. So that's where I hear the bulk of it.
What is it again?
And then
Astonishing Legends?
Astonishing Legends.
Have you never heard it?
I've never heard of them.
Oh,
I've heard of them.
You
I've
need to listen.
only
They
listened to them
are
a few times.
fantastic.
Yeah. Scott and Forrest. We found them because of the Sally House. When we investigated the Sally House, and we realized we were having all those weird things occur, like the complacency we had afterwards, and then just the oddities of it. And Pam and I started kind of hunting for any other information we could find on the Sally House. And at that time, that was their biggest rated show, because it was just, what happened to them was just so fantastic. And that's what hooked us. And I will warn anybody that's listening. So they are deep divers. Like they are made. Yeah, they are made for people who love paranormal and investigate paranormal. They go into the most tedious details. I don't think they've ever put on a show that was less than like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And that's short for them.
They actually have a group of people behind them. They call them the Astonishing Research Corps, I think is what they call them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're scientists. They are all kinds of very well-read, intelligent people that deep dive all this stuff for them. And they come up with some fabulous stuff, fabulous information. Like they did the Gimerson or the Gimlin Patterson film on Bigfoot. 6 episodes, 2 hours a piece. That's how deep they go.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And it was fascinating. I hung on every word of the whole thing.
Yeah. They just got done. In fact, today I just finished listening to their second part on the missing 411. And each session was 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's
a lot there, though.
Yeah, there is a lot there.
A Sally House was 4 segments.
Yeah.
Each one lasting anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, somewhere around in there. But it's,
wow.
I mean, it's a deep. So if whoever's listening and are interested in it, if you are like a get in and get out kind of person, you're not going to like this show.
Yeah, because they really go deep. And you guys did is it Voynich? How do you say it? Voynich?
Voynich
manuscript.
Voynich manuscripts. They did a deep dive on that too, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Pretty, yeah. So you're right there with what's pertinent, topic.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure.
I always suggest, though, if you're going to start with their show with Astonishing Legends, start at the Sally House. It will hook you right away. They're so diligent on how they present everything, and the recording that they brought back with them is the most amazing, scary, gut-wrenching EVP I've ever heard in my entire life. I almost vomited the first time I listened to it. I had to stop it partway through because it was too overwhelming. So, and I believe they show it on the second part, right?
Yeah, I
Pam?
remember that.
I think so.
Yeah. But absolutely do not skip to the second one. Start out at the beginning. I mean, they even get the Pickmans who lived in the Sally House for so long and had the bulk of that stuff happen to them. They have them on along with family members and other people who had lived in the house. There's so much more to that story than a little girl named Sally. Really, it's the least of it.
And even the Pickman son and his new wife and, things that have happened to them since then. And the Pickmans have had a whole bunch of stuff happen to them since they moved out that I didn't know about, that they talk about. It's fascinating.
Possibly related.
Like, one of the things that really fascinated me was the fact that on several occasions, he's gone to sleep to take a nap or something like that, and then woke up at the Sally House. They live like a mile away from it now. Wow. He woke up one night there standing in the front lawn in the snow. He'd walk there in his pajamas, barefooted. Had no idea he'd done it. And oftentimes they always know when they've got a lot of investigators in that house, even though they don't live there, if they provoke, stuff will show up missing from their home they're in now and show up in the Sally House all half burnt and warped.
Whoa, that
was it? I think one was like a pen and one was a remote control.
A remote control. I think there was like a pair of sunglasses or something in there.
Yeah.
And a phone.
It's pretty wild.
I believe a phone transported over there and got all melted, and it had a weird message on it too, or something like that. But anyways, yeah, if you're going to do Astonishing Legends, which you should, if you love the paranormal whatsoever, and start with the Sally House. Their entire, the great thing about Astonishing Legends is they don't do the whole, after a month or two, they backlog their stuff. Every show is available to you. So you can go back and start from the beginning, and you don't have to do a Patreon pay or anything to go see those past ones.
You can even pull transcripts off their website, and
Yeah.
they're tedious. They go down on their website under the show, and they will list every source, everything that they found, links to everything.
Which I love because they link all their books to Amazon. So you can just, whatever book they talked about, you can just be like, zoinks, and order it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Nice. I wish I was that technical.
Right.
Well, they have, remember, they have a whole
time.
core of people behind them, too, that are
Right.
full of
Yeah, we really need a backcourt. We really do.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to build one.
Yep.
So
You guys
we'll
are
get
good.
there.
Come on.
I love your stuff.
So.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. You know, after we started back up in May. I mean, I was doing some looking the other day, and we're almost up to 100 episodes. Not counting this show, just What If Tomorrow.
That's awesome.
We're almost to 100 episodes.
You guys should do like a big, like 100th show spectacular or something.
Yeah,
I want to. We also want to do like a special Halloween episode, maybe pre-recorded. That way we can play it Halloween that way. Because I know you're busy, Jess. I know everybody's busy that night. You know, it'd be kind of something cool to just throw in and hook up to your Bluetooth in your car and listen to. You know, I think it'd be cool.
That would be
cool.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'd like to have, you know, maybe invite the whole Odd House group in and have them on. That'd be a good time.
You should have us on next month at some point, and we'll do a costume party.
I need to get me a mullet wig and a wife beater T-shirt, and I could go as Carl from Aqua Teen Thunder Force.
Dude, no.
That's funny.
If you take your hat off, get you some hair to put around, put your wife beater on, or just a white T-shirt. You look like Bill off of King of the Hill.
There you go.
That's funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to be Ursula this year. I got to finish my costume. It's about done.
I'll just wear some hangers on my head.
There you go.
Hey, I think I still got, look, I've still got.
Hey, there you go.
We're going to do Disney villains this year, and I ended up being Ursula, so I'm perfect with that. So
We may have to do that. That might be fun.
I could be Toad and Frog and Toad together again. The kids' book. I kind of look like a toad with hair.
My kids and wife are trying to talk me into dressing up. I don't know.
you totally should. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
You should have saw us last year. Oh my gosh. Who was I? I was Bellatrix Lestrange last year.
Okay.
And I had this wig, and it's actually part of an old Jesus costume, which is terrible, I know, but I used it and it couldn't have been better. They were great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go to hell for that. But, you know, I'll be in good company.
Yeah, I think my I think it was my son said that I need to dress up as or he was going to have my daughter dress up as Yoda. He's going to have me dress up as Luke Skywalker. I'm like, how's that going to work? You know, I can't remember how it went. Maybe I was Chewbacca or something. I was like, you know what?
Funny.
How about I dress up as Yoda and you dress up as Luke Skywalker and you carry me on your back?
That'll work.
He's like, don't work, Dad.
I think that'd be great.
I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Funny.
You know, I think we went from the biggest to being, you know, the biggest, me being Yoda, I think, to my daughter, you know, who's 5, being Chewbacca. You know, we kind of went the opposite direction
That is
of
funny.
size, you know.
It could be an Ewok.
Right. Yep. But hey, I want to share some of this news. Mark, you had some pretty good stuff come up. We did some quick research before the show, have some articles up. There's one that I was kind of talking to Mark about a little bit, but it's about this guy in Texas who he claims he has alien technology, or he's had alien technology in his home for decades, and it says tests have been ordered. He travels all over America, and everywhere he's gone, he takes a 50-pound magnetic silver sphere. Here, I'll share this so you guys can see what I'm looking at.
It's not the
let's see, there
bets.
we go.
Is it? No,
I was going to say, is it the bet sphere? Like the bet sphere? Although those are all over the place now.
Florida or somewhere.
Yeah. It says Jim Marlin. He's gone all over the U.S. Launched the career of American country star Willie Nelson and made a lot of money along the way. Wherever he's gone, the music promoter has taken a strange object with him, a silver sphere. Said it's been part of. I'm just going to give a quick rundown of what it is. Said it's alien technology. It's been in his family for more than 40 years. He said it's a part of him now. Takes it everywhere he goes. And he said we've all seen those underwhelming images of UFOs, the ones in the distant, blurry, and low-resolution pictures you can't see much at all. He claimed he has so much more. He said he was out in the desert in the middle of nowhere. We went out there, and there was a pile of these spheres out in his yard, in one of his friend's yard. He said, "What's that?" He said, "Jim, I'd tell you, but you wouldn't believe me." He said, "Try me." He said, "Jim, I swear to God, a UFO came over my house and dropped him in my yard, and they've been sitting there ever since." And he was offered a chance to take one, so he did. He said, "I was amazed. I'd never seen any of these." Since then, he claims to have witnessed some mysterious moments with the sphere. He said, "As I was laying on my back on the floor, I was just mindlessly rubbing my feet on the sphere while I was talking to a friend. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and I was shot across the floor on my back. I was 6 to 10 feet away from the sphere." There's no explanation for that.
It's like, dude, get your stank feet off of me.
Hello, I'm an alien egg, and I don't like your stench.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, while the origin of the silver sphere remains a mystery, there's a long history of UFO sightings, and a lot of sightings tracked by paranormal investigators. There are these metallic silvery spheres seen adjacent to these objects.
Mm-hmm.
So Jackson developed a theory. These spheres are a type of protection mechanism. And it kind of runs down. They're going to test it, see what it is, all that good stuff. So I found that kind of interesting. It was kind of
that is interesting.
That is pretty cool.
Well, if he's smart, he won't let the government look at it.
Yeah,
right. They'll never give him back.
Well,
they'll get it back. It just won't be the same thing anymore. That's what happened to the Betts family.
Mm-hmm.
He actually turned it in to have it checked, and they have possession of it now, apparently by the article.
Oh well,
so he
won't get it back. He will. It just won't be it. They like putting dummies in their place. Yeah.
Look, invisible drink. Green screen.
Speaking of the let's see. Speaking of the 24th, was the Paracon. I do want to share this, because the world was supposed to end on the 24th. I don't know if you guys knew about that or not.
We were
because our show was so badass.
Right.
That's what it was.
That's right.
We saved the world.
But apparently on TikTok, the theory was going around on September 24th. I mean, everybody believes everything on TikTok. So I found this kind of amusing. Didn't really go a lot into it, other than I told Mark I was kind of looking over this. Is the only thing I wanted to throw out there is, according to Vice. Okay, this is on Newsweek, so keep that in mind. I didn't even realize they were still a news agency, but I guess they are. Says, according to Vice, QAnon followers and conspiracy theorists were quick to point out the connection between this date and an episode of The Simpsons in which doomsday preppers discuss a complete breakdown of society. So, September 24, 22 will be remembered by all of us as a day which we will say, I remember exactly where I was. German politician Friedrich Merz said an ominous clip that's been circulating on social media. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather not know if it was going to end or not. So, I mean,
I remember
it goes back quite a ways.
Well, I'm
it's on
perfectly
Newsweek.
safe up here on my spaceship.
Right.
When I lived in Joplin, so it'd have been like 1988. I worked at McDonald's, and one of our shift leaders, her dad was a pastor, and I don't remember what affiliation they were or anything, but they were so certain that the world was going to end sometime in 1988. I can't remember the date or anything. I just remember her being all giddy and, we're down to 1 week and we're down to 3 days. And, she was getting rid of stuff and doing all this stuff. And the day came and, it went. And she came back to work and she was really quiet for a really long time. And we were all just like, yikes.
That's always made me wonder. These people that predicted, I mean, they say they're affiliated with the church and this and that, but if they're in a Bible believing church, the Bible says no one knows.
Yeah.
No one knows that neither the day nor the time. That's, paraphrasing, but I mean, how do they figure that? I mean, I love the ones that come out and say, well, it's going to end on this date. Then that day passes. Well, I didn't do the math right. So it's going to be this date. Then they just kind of fall off the face of the earth because now nobody's going to listen to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Mark, you said you had a couple.
Well, this one's actually Pam's, I believe. Wasn't it you who shared me the deal about the UFO on the intelligence agency seal?
Oh yeah, did you?
Mm-hmm.
It lasted for what, a whole day and a half?
Yeah, they're saying they mistakenly posted an incorrect logo that was on his computer. It's like it very clearly, and it shows us
on their website.
Shows a Soviet jet fighter and a UFO on the seal. Here, let's see if I can share this. See if I'm smart enough. I may or may not be.
If not, I can share it. I've got it pulled up over here.
And
Today, those full.
Oh, dang it.
Here we go. There's the seal that they had up
There it is.
all day long the other day.
Mhm.
And the article from Cyberscoop. So.
And it was definitely their website. I went to their specific website, and it was
I followed the link.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't take them long to get it off. Everybody was having a cow.
It did not.
So, I was smart enough to both put it up and take it off. Yay me!
Right.
I used to be really technical about that.
It came out last week. I know we talked about it last week. So it's been a couple of weeks, but they came out and said they're going to reclassify all this information. They're going to classify everything top secret because they don't think it's alien or extraterrestrial or whatever. They think it's either another nation or something. So they're hiding it, obviously. So who knows what it is?
That's like trying to stick glue back in the bottle. How are you going to do that?
Right.
Well, they were trying to distract us, and now they don't want us to look at it anymore because they're done.
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
I would agree with that. I mean, they've got a different agenda now to push and to hide from everybody. So they're going to come up with something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we also touched on this last week. UFOs all over Ukraine skies, government report claims. Says astronomers observed dozens of objects that cannot be scientifically identified. We kind of touched on it last week, so I'm not going to go really in depth on it. But they're popping up all over the place, and again, it goes back to last week's episode. I mean, they just pop up over conflict zones, things like that. I mean, it's kind of odd. I don't know if it's entertainment. I don't know if they're trying to gauge where we're at in development or what. I don't know.
Especially when there's a nuclear threat, here they come.
Right.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
But if there's portions of the earth that they use, if they use us like a way station, and stop in and get fuel, may it be water or whatever it is that they use, and we are good for that, then there's a reason for them to keep us, or make sure that we don't blow everything up.
Right.
Or contaminate.
I like that gas station.
Mm-hmm.
The cleanest bathroom this side of the galaxy.
That's the one with the monkeys out back.
Right.
The snacks are great, they say, is doing on another cat.
Oh.
Jess is kicking on.
I had to mute it real quick.
Oh no.
Didn't want to. It's loud. I was going to say, do you guys buy into the whole, the media in Hollywood has been conditioning us to ease into the whole alien thing?
I think there's something to it. I think they're projecting something. I really do.
So I kind of had an eye opener last night, and it kind of made me wonder if there wasn't some truth to that theory. Do you all watch Resident Alien?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I do not,
I love
although I
that
do
show.
want to
Great
love that
show.
You need to. I love it. And last night I really realized why I love it. It's because whoever writes for the show does their research.
Yeah.
I can often state what's going to happen before it happens on there,
Mhm.
and the names of it, the theories behind it. And Mike thinks it's
Yep.
hysterical because I'm such a nerd. But I'm like 2 shows behind on it. Been trying to catch up. And last night I watched 2 of them. And I had to laugh at first because in the show, and spoiler alert for whoever's watching Resident Alien, I'm going to spoil it just a little bit. They're on the road to go somewhere with the alien guy in the back seat. And
Yeah.
they come across a sign that says 37th Parallel Highway, which is hilarious because they made it an actual highway, right?
Yep.
And they pull over, and he goes out and he ends up making a crop circle to alert the aliens. Yeah, because he's trying to figure out of 2 different kinds of aliens, Greys and the Draconoids or something like that.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
ones are
reptilians or
trying?
whatever.
Yeah, which ones are trying to
Yep.
destroy Earth? So he sends the draconian ones or whatever a horrible foul-mouthed message. Anywho's, they go off and do whatever, and on their way back, the car runs out of gas, or it slows down and stops, and the electric goes out. And as soon as that happened, I was like, "Uh-oh, time storm! They're getting ready to get picked up by the Greys," which I was right, and Mike was rolling his eyes again, like, "Oh my God, she knows way too much." And they freeze because missing time and all of that, and he gets out of the car, and a Grey comes down out of the spaceship and basically tells him telepathically, because they don't speak, that it's them who's going to be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And tough luck on that, and basically get off their backs. They're going to do whatever the hell they want.
Right.
And it kind of dawned on me, and this is probably a little far-fetched, but this show is so well written and investigated, and they use true terms and theories so well.
Yeah.
It scares me a little bit. Like, what's the point?
I see what you're saying. I don't want to give anything away because we finally caught up last week.
Okay.
But coming up, I think you got a few more episodes till you're caught up. But yeah, this last week's episode,
I'm back.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yay.
I don't know. I don't really want to describe much of it, but it's worth watching.
Okay. Well, it worries me because they really are on target on.
They are.
I mean, throughout even last season, basic quantum theories and space shift and portals and paradigms, and they're really like hold true to it. And I'm like, why would you put so much into what is just supposed to be a comedy?
Yeah, and it's hilarious. I'll give them that. It's freaking.
It
hilarious.
is. It's one of my favorite shows, but it just makes me wonder a little bit, like, why are they putting so much into the research?
Yep.
Why be so weirdly
for a little comedy?
What's that, Mark?
Why be so weirdly specific?
I know. It's and they're dragging in like the big name alien guys too, like Giorgio Sokolov's on there all the time.
Oh, he was on there again, yeah.
And in fact, the voice of the alien, I realized halfway through because I was like, this dude sounds familiar. Who am I listening to? It was George Takei was the voice of the Grey.
Who was?
Oh,
Yep.
George Takei.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Oh my.
Wait till you get to this last week's episode.
Yeah.
You'll laugh your butt off. It's funny.
They're hysterical. It just worries me a little how on the nose.
Yeah.
How much
Like
work?
Uh-huh.
How much work they put into what to any other person would be nothing, but to people like us, we're like, oh.
Yeah, I caught it because we were late to the game. I watched the first couple episodes on YouTube because I didn't have sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went on for a while. Then we got Peacock, and I noticed it was on Peacock. I was like, I'm going to watch this because the first couple episodes were hilarious. Him and the little kid and the whole interaction. It was hilarious. And so I was like, I'm going to watch this. Well, my wife got into watching it. And she's like, "It's a new episode on yet?" No. So we usually wait till Friday or Saturday, or till we can get caught up to it. And, but I noticed early on in the first season, they're like, these guys are on target with a lot of these theories. And that's what this, that sphere thing reminded me of, because that comes into play a little bit too with the alien spheres. And so, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they're trying to
normalize it,
make it normalize it, or if they're trying to distract. I don't know which one it is.
Might be both.
And it could be. It could be. Now I've got one more article, Mark. If you have anything else to share, go for it.
Well, I do have a rather old article, but I found it interesting. There was a 2004 Gallup poll. It says 75% of Americans believe in the paranormal. I just thought that was interesting.
When you say 2004?
2004. And I feel like that's probably more now.
I would agree with that. I think after everything that happened in 2020, I would think it'd be higher.
No, paranormal claims went up when everybody was stuck at home with their ghosts.
Right.
Well, and now the government did come out and say that UFOs are real, and they declassified so much stuff. It's hard to say that those things aren't true anymore,
Right.
And does that fall under paranormal?
I think it's looked at under the whole umbrella. With cryptids and paranormal ghosts, all that. I think it's all considered one topic, even though it's all separate. I think was it you, Jess, or was it you, Pam? I don't remember, about how all the different areas of the paranormal are coming together and relying on each other now for different information. You were
it's
dead
all
on
connected.
When you said that.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. That was.
It is.
That's our theme nowadays.
It's one of the reasons for the Paracon. So we could get all of these different people from different backgrounds and different studies to get together and realize that these stories mesh.
Yeah.
Been
weird the last few years as we come across.
Especially like the cryptid Bigfoot people are very, very set in their ways. And if we could just get them to ease up just a little bit and realize we're on their side too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I found a good portion of investigators and stuff now in the paranormal are starting to lean finally into other things, cryptids and
back in
interdimensional.
The day, they were so separated. You were either, if you were Bigfoot camp and somebody from the ghost camp said something, you poo-pooed them, whatever, and the same with aliens and just the whole 9 yards. And it's been within probably the past 5 to 10 years, they were still pretty separated when we first got together as a group in 2012, but it was shortly thereafter, it seems like everybody started kind of realizing, you can be in more than one of these camps at the same time.
Oh, speaking of news, have you guys heard this? So that brought me an Alien and MUFON. That MUFON, if you give any kind of an alien thing and it has any kind of a Bigfoot or ghost thing to it, they'll ditch it.
Really?
They won't even get back to me. So I'm not a big fan.
So, but the news is just recently it got leaked that MUFON has been selling all of their stuff to the government.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really?
Selling it. Yep. they opened up all of their files for them after the government paid a pretty price.
How suspicious.
Interesting.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was going to ask, talking about all these groups coming together, do you think, Pam, you said, 10 years or so, they started kind of coming together. Do you think as mediums like this with the podcasts out there, people sharing their own experiences, people sharing their thoughts and opinions through podcast format or YouTube or all these different venues now, do you think that has aided that?
I think it has. I know the more that, when you get the people together that are mainly Bigfoot or mainly ghosts or UFOs, aliens, when you get them all together in one room, a lot of the times, if everyone looks at the same scenario from their different points of view, a lot of times they will find out they are discussing or seeing the same thing. They're just calling it by a different thing, like if you're the Bigfoot group, then it's going to be some kind of cryptid. But if you're in the alien group, well, it's got to be extraterrestrial, and it's all the same thing. They're just calling it by different names.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who's to say it's not? Nobody knows. Nobody knows if these cryptids are alien or if they've been
because
here.
We think it's, we have it ingrained in our heads that aliens are all going to be these,
little green men,
or they're going to look so alien, for a lack of a better term, that when we hear people say, well, Bigfoot could be alien, well, we kind of laugh it off, because what kind of big hairy dude would be flying around in space? We don't know. I'm
a big hairy dude, and I'd fly in space tomorrow.
But it's true. We have in our minds, we have our preconceived notions, and if they don't match up with what's in front of us, we have a tendency, just as humans, to knock it to the side and say, okay, it can't be that, let's keep moving forward.
Yeah.
When we really need to give it more of the benefit of the doubt.
Well, and that's why I thought that this poll from 2004 was still pertinent, because I can only see that that's growing. And if it's been almost 20 years ago now, that this poll was taken, and they said the numbers didn't change really from 2001. I think people have always been open to this. I think that at some point people just started saying, you know what? I don't care what people think of me. I'm going to talk about what I think and why I think it.
I'm going to sneeze. Sorry, guys.
The devil with the consequences.
I'm trying to stay.
I think that's part of it, is because it's coming to in the mainstream. What was it? Early. It's around that time when the show. What was it? Paranormal or?
I was going to say in the early 2000s was when all the big paranormal shows started.
Right.
Ghost Hunters and, all of those. And it kind of brought that popularity.
Well, and it also brought conversation.
Yeah.
I said, oh, did you see that show? I said, oh, yeah, I've believed this stuff for years. You too. I've always been afraid to talk about it.
It was, especially in our area, it was so much more of a taboo subject, because I had been ghost hunting for years. And I was so thrilled when Ghost Hunters and Paranormal State came out, because I'm like, there's other people that are doing this, That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now if we could get a show put together that spanned all paranormal, instead of it just being a ghost show or it just being chasing Bigfoot. We need to combine those.
We'll do that. We'll buy an RV and we'll just go on the road.
Heck yeah.
Here we go.
Paranormal road trip.
That would be fun.
I like it. Let's patent it. Paranormal road trip.
That would be fun.
Get it copyrighted.
By golly, we could name a podcast that.
That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
Oh, that'd be fun.
I like it. We could get everybody together from UFO Garage and Paranormal Chop Shop, Paranormal Road Trip.
Oh, we could take road trips to where everybody's home base is and go hang out with them.
There you go.
In Texas, the UFO Garage guys.
I like it.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Be fun.
History was just made tonight.
Yeah, we need to copyright that.
On this night, Paranormal Road Trip was formed.
There's a show on that's similar to that name. What is it? Do you guys know?
I've got no clue.
No.
Hopefully, we're not like treading on somebody's.
Maybe we are. I don't know. That's a good
I think
concept.
that
What?
might be the name of it, but I can't.
What?
remember.
Really? Is
Yeah,
that-
seriously.
Let me look that up.
Here.
Yeah, look it up. It's something like that.
Why
This was the night
Why-
Mark became highly disappointed.
Right.
While
we can
he's
name
doing
it
that,
something
I wanna-
else.
Oh, easy. While he's doing that, I
Just
want to
switch
run
it
down
around,
this
road trip
next
and the
article.
paranormal or something.
Just to throw it out there, I've got it up. It was kind of odd though. It says engineers discover a new process for synthetic material growth, enabling soft robots to grow like plants. And that was from today. So
Yikes.
Is that necessary?
I don't
Haunted
think so.
America.
We're so scared.
We need to
We're-
copyright it.
We're so scared of robots taking over. Let's just make
I
it
know it.
easier for them.
No
Right.
kidding. Let's just Oh my gosh. Did you find it, Mark?
I haven't found a show named that, but I've found lots of references that say take a paranormal road trip.
Oh, okay, so it's not like used.
So
It's
it's
just a.
Commonly
No,
used
I mean-
frame.
I thought that was the actual name of it.
I have not found. Maybe there's a book, Paranormal Road Trip. There's a book working on a mystery paperback.
Is it fiction or nonfiction?
Well, it depends on your views, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's
Author
fine. We'll just
Larry
put
Wilson.
we'll put a V or an A in front of that. A paranormal
Oh,
road trip or
okay.
the paranormal road trip. We'll be
So-
fine.
Right.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Paranormal Road Trip was not the name of the show. The show is Destination Fear.
Oh,
Uh,
I
But
remember
they
that
do
show.
Road Trip. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
was getting confused. They do
They're
road
lame.
trip things.
Not a
They are.
fan.
see, you guys
Sorry,
are already
guys.
set up for that. I mean, thinking about it, you guys are really already set up for that. You have your group already.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be hard to start a YouTube channel doing that. Maybe
No.
Paranormal Road Trip or whatever, and kind of get involved. I don't have a clue about cinematography and all that stuff, but you could start with your location stuff. If the homeowners or whatever, if you did like Sally House or something like that. I mean, it all depend. But I don't know. My brain's going off now. So
We started something at the library. It's called Road Tripping with the Librarians. And it's to where we go around to different local areas of interest and do basically a vlog of it, that we're going to put on our website. But the problem is we've got the information for the first episode. We just need to work on the technological part of it and find the time to do it. There's only 3 of
Right.
us.
what do you need done?
Um,
You need it all compiled or what?
we need it compiled. Yeah.
Okay.
It needs
Ab-
edited, is what it needs, and it needs an
Wh-
editor.
Yes. Big time.
I mean, we can talk more after the show. I mean, I'd be happy to look at it if you want. I mean, I'm not great at it. I mean, but
Oh,
I've
you
got
got to be better
the
than
stuff.
we are. Because
There's
yeah,
some
happy to
good
look at it
software
for you.
out there for free.
I've got some video editing stuff and all that. I mean,
if
I'd be
someone
happy
could
to
just
take a look at it.
show me how to do it,
OpenShot isn't hard at all.
me running on it, I think I would be okay. But again, it's
Right.
finding the time to get it done. But yeah, we had fun. We went out. Where all did we go? Jess went with us. We went to the cemetery and looked at some of the more interesting headstones that are interesting, at least to Canyites, And then where the old Highway 75 used to go south of town, we followed a walking trail back in there, and it was really cool. It was pretty fun.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but it's
Cool.
kind of along the same lines,
There is a podcast by that name, by the way.
Paranormal Road Trip.
Yep.
Ah, phooey. We'll
Dang
figure
it.
something out. We can
But-
figure
We'll
something out.
call it-
Them
we'll-
for coming up with it before us.
We'll call it
Flip
the
it around, flip
better.
it around.
We'll call it the better paranormal road trip.
How about road tripping the paranormal?
Or we could attract the people that are like into acid and stuff and just just call it tripping paranormal or something. I don't know.
Psychedelic Scooby-Doo van. Wait, that's been done, damn it.
If we ever did get an RV, we'd have to make it, paint it, or wrap it like the Mystery Machine.
Oh, you know it.
100%.
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
Paranormal Roadshow. I like it.
I think that hadn't that been done?
I don't know. Let's look it up.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yay for Mark and Google. Woohoo.
We'll go around and ask people, have people show us their stuff and tell them what it's worth, I guess. I don't know. Haunted dolls and stuff like that.
It's genuine ectoplasm. Yes, there is yeah, it's already used.
Dang
There is a thriving Facebook community.
Yeah, my wife said that's Antique Roadshow. Yeah, I know. If we're gonna steal names, we'll go for it all.
Well, yeah, we might as well go for it.
We couldn't do that show where we go and investigate people's stuff and tell them the worth, because Zach Baggins would follow right behind us and zoinks all that stuff right to his museum. That jerk. I'm not getting him a hands up there.
Right.
I don't think so.
That's funny.
So let's talk about the Paracon for a few minutes. I mean, I had an amazing time. My wife really enjoyed herself.
It's good to meet her too. Good to meet you.
I know. I know a lady that we work with. She came in late. She had to work Saturday. She came in late and she caught. And the one she really wanted to catch was the Bigfoot guys. I forget their names. I'm the world's worst when it comes to it.
Brian,
But
Red Dirt Paranormal. Or
Red Dirt Paranormal.
Red
Yeah.
Dirt Cryptid.
Red Dirt Cryptid. Yeah,
I got their card right here.
Yeah,
Really?
they're
What's up,
they're
bro?
gearing up. They're gearing up for the no more hands from Jess. What?
My wife says, "Good to meet you too."
Yay.
Yeah, Brian Terrell and his partner, they're gearing up for the Bigfoot conference in Honobia this weekend.
Nice.
So,
Yes.
Nice.
yeah, they didn't even get a
That-
break.
Yeah, I mean, they said because Mark and I were talking to. Which one was on the panel? Was that Brian?
That was Brian. Yeah.
We were talking when they were getting ready to leave, and he said they were going to the Osage Hills because there was reports down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were going to go
And,
camping down there.
They were going to go camping down there.
They were multitasking.
Yeah, that's Catman area.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Chautauqua all the way down into the Osage Hills there. Yeah, that's a perfect place to go camping.
We'll have to
Nice.
touch base with them and see if they had any experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about that.
But we did. I mean, I had a great time. It was a great turnout, I thought. I mean, just because I said on last year's as well. Last year was looked like everything was against it because of the rain and all that. It was tough.
Josh
Mhm.
hates being in Coffeyville.
And we decided to try to throw it together in 2 months, I think. F conferences about humans.
Willie
funny.
Willie said, "You guys ever wonder if cryptids have conferences about humans?" There was a fantastic movie called
I'm sure they
Smallfoot.
do.
They really put things in perspective of a lot of things in the world. Yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Probably more like
I-
look what idiots we're doing now.
I was going to say, I think the conferences is probably about how can we elude them some more because we don't want
Yeah.
them in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Humans and how to
Making
eliminate
fun of
them.
My
You
wife,
know-
but that is a great movie. It's a good movie.
Probably one of the most favorite things for me that came out of the conference was when we were on the UFO alien panel and we were talking about, different experiences in the area. After that panel ended, my mom and some of her friends happened to be there in the audience. And so I walked over and I was talking to them. And one of her friends is 94 years old, I think. She proceeds to tell me about her UFO experience over near Coffeyville, between Tyrone and Coffeyville, near Dead Man's Curve.
That's where
the Dead
Son's
Man's
been
Hill.
seeing them.
Is that where he's been seeing them?
Mm-hmm.
Because she was like, I forgot all about it. And it's been a lot of years ago, but listening to this just reminded me of that. So I guess it was the ghosts, because they set in on the ghosts, but aliens got brought up somehow along there. But so she's telling me about that. Well, then Mom's other friend chimes in and was like, let me tell you about my experience over by Arc City with a UFO. And I was like,
Nice.
y'all are holding out on me. So there's two more
Nice.
we need to get with and get their stories down.
Well,
Yeah,
Mark and I had. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Jess.
I was going to say the thing that amazed me was watching these people walk into the conference that I've known my whole life and would have sworn up and down that they would never have set foot anywhere near something like that. I was genuinely shocked at some of the people I saw come in and sat down. So,
And I heard
That's
nothing
because
but
it's
good
beginning to
reviews.
normalize.
yeah.
People's beginning to think it's
Aliens,
normal.
ghosts. Maybe.
Big Willie said, now do aliens deal with ghosts?
They might. I don't know.
I can't remember how it got brought up.
Maybe they're hunting them for ectoplasm to operate their UFOs.
Willie, it's too bad
Maybe.
you missed that. It was a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah,
was.
It was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Now that right before Mark and I went on the UFO panel, we had a guy approach us. I mean, he was dead serious about stuff he'd seen the night before. They said it was dropping like stuff that burned him. So there was like a craft that had like tentacles and stuff coming off of it. I mean, it was just kind of odd, but I'm like, man, I don't know. I mean, the internet was slow and they're on my phone, so I tried to look him up because I was going to keep him in contact to try to bring him on.
I've got
But
his number.
he was afraid.
Yeah, he was.
And I mean, he made the mention. He said, "Man, if I share this, they're liable to kill me."
Oh, poor dude.
Yeah, so he was in fear. I mean, whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. I don't want to discount it, and I'm not. But I don't know what to make of it. You know, it blew me away. I was like, "This is nuts." You know, I mean, we're getting ready to go on here and talk about this stuff, and I mean, he walked right up to us with a purpose.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Who's the
he's like,
UFO expert?
yeah, he said, I got to go. And he got out of there, but I guess he told one of the ladies in the audience to make sure Mark got his number. So
I would like to have Ben and Joe talk to him.
Oh, yeah. Ben and Joe, I think, would have a better demeanor with it because,
they are experts compared to us.
yeah, by far. I mean, we just kind of skimmed the subject, but Big Willie says he's been AWOL for about a month now. You need to hurry up and get on, man. He said, Mark, good job. Make sure you got his number. It's a fantastic hat as always.
I'm going to be getting some new ones, so be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem doing what we do, we take people's stories, you know, and you can't poo-poo or judge somebody for their story, no matter how outlandish it sounds to you, because the stories that we tell are outlandish to someone else.
Right.
True.
Right.
And regardless of the fact that there are going to be circumstances where they literally are just having some mental issues. Maybe he's on a medication that's giving him these dreams, or he's, hallucinating. You can't downplay it because
we don't know.
I would hate to go to somebody with my story scared to death and have them discount me.
No,
the same way that I would be discounting him. So it's kind of like a fine line you tread. What do you believe? What do you not? What do you account? What do you discount? It's hard to say. So yeah, it's just what we deal with.
Right. But to me, the biggest thing, it's true to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with it or not, or whether you believe it or not, I mean, it's true to them.
Yeah. Especially if you come there from it.
You combine that with the uptick in the area of various people that I have met recently who have had experiences in this area, and I don't doubt it at all.
No.
I'm not so sure that it's an actual uptick in experiences. as it is that people are actually talking about it now.
People
Because
are willing
I
to talk about it now.
stand by the fact that there is always weird stuff happening in our area. There always has been.
Yeah.
Nobody's just never
Yep.
talked about it.
Yeah, because we're right on the 37th parallel
We
of
are.
Yeah.
UFO highway. So
And
yeah,
we're in a
that's
very
true.
conservative area, so nobody talks about it. And it's taken us, we've been together how many years now?
A dozen.
10,
Yeah,
almost 11.
Yeah.
we've been together that long, and it's just now getting to the point to where people will come up to us and say, "Hey, I have a story you need to hear." You know, they know we're not going to make fun of them. They know that we are not going to discount them, and they know that if they want it anonymous, we're going to keep it anonymous.
Right.
And we're not
Absolutely.
gonna go
Yeah.
And I think
all nutso with it either. So,
yes,
Right.
and
Mhm.
that I think that's huge. Just the confidence that we're building up in the community.
Yeah. I mean, you're getting that rapport and that trust. I mean, and that's important.
Yes.
Yeah. That's why we make the Paracon the way it is. I absolutely believe in the public being parts of the panels. Always ask questions and get them to open up and talk. If you can get one person to tell their story, it's usually a snowball
Yep.
effect, which you guys saw. Once
Yeah, we
one
had a lot of
person told their
stories.
story, yeah, somebody else was quite willing to stand up. And I even had a few that came to me afterwards in between panels and was like,
Same.
I have a story to tell, but I was too nervous to say it in front of everybody. Would you listen to it now? Or can I call you? So
I had several people.
it is so
approach-
important. Yeah, it's so important to get the public to open up about it and to normalize it, which I think
Yep.
the Paracon is doing a great job here in our teeny tiny little Bible thumping town.
It is.
I think it's going to be huge next year.
I think so because, I mean, it's growing pains right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
But going back, I spoke about it earlier. Alicia, was that her name, Mark? Alicia?
Alicia, yeah.
Yeah, her
Mhm.
daughter. I want to touch on this because it sent chills down my spine. I know her daughter talked about it on when one of the panels were on, the ghost
Mhm.
story panels, one of the first panels. But then Alicia come over and talked about how her daughter saw something out in the woods that was furry, but it had the head of a deer and antlers.
Mhm.
When she said that, chills went down my spine because
One
I thought it
image
was a
come to
Wendigo.
mind.
One
Yep.
image, I mean, right in my head. It was right in my head, and I pulled it up. I said, I don't really want to talk about it, but does it look like this? She's like, I don't know. I'll go ask her. You know, later on when she came back, you know, because she left for a while or whatever and came back,
Mhm.
she came up and told Mark. She said, my daughter said that was exactly what it was. I said, don't let her go back out there.
Yeah, don't go back out there.
I said,
Yeah,
"Don't
well,
go
the
back
scary
out there."
thing, she told me where that was. Do you know where
Yeah.
it was? It was
I
right
have no
behind
idea.
it was right behind the bar here in town, or out there in that little
Yeah.
wooded
Oh, where
swath.
they used to,
It's
yeah,
right there.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she told us that
And what's
at one point.
and
That's
what's crazy, and I do want to have you guys back on maybe next month or something like that to talk about the Indian folklore and stuff like that. But the more I've kind of looked into it, there are tons of reported sightings of this and the Skinwalker.
Hmm.
Even, you know, from, you know, people on reservations, even like in the Appalachia, you know, and all around they're coming up. And I never even would have thought that
No,
that would have
wouldn't have
been
either.
talked about here.
Now they are worldwide. It's kind of akin to a Wendigo.
Mhm.
They're more like little people. They tend to attach themselves to families and will hang with that family through generations, even when that family moves. And will only disconnect themselves from them when that family line dies. And then
Right.
they'll wait to find the next appropriate person to attach to. So you find them all over the place. That's just
Right.
old Indian lore right there.
Yeah, gives me the shivers.
yes.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like full body shivers when she described what her daughter saw, and I was like, oh geez, because that was the
I came up
first
with
thing
the
that hit
same
my
thing.
head. I mean, and I know Mark tried to kind of to talk it down a little bit, saying, you know, it could have been a tribe of, you know, Sasquatch or something like that, thinking about, you know, the old tribal ways, you know, because he said, you know, have you ever seen any of like shamans or whatever wearing a wolf's hat or the cape or whatever you want
Head
to call
over
it,
the head.
and it makes sense. It does. But there was just something in my gut, like I
don't want it
was
to be
so
that. I want it
unnerving.
to be the other
Right.
thing.
I wanted, I do. I
Exactly.
want it to be what you're talking about, Mark.
Yeah. Always trust your gut.
Right.
But yeah, I came up with the same thing. It's like, oh, that shit is scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
That family, I'm not going to say their names because they're one of
Right.
our anonymous. But
And that's
they're very deep into that stuff. They're so knee deep into it that they actually started trying to investigate it themselves. One of the reasons why she came back, the mother, she had actually won some stuff from us last year from the previous Paracon, some equipment, and she didn't quite know how to use it correctly. And I was trying to explain to her very quickly in between panels how to properly use the stuff. And then I realized, I was like, just come back for the proper use of equipment.
Right.
Which actually was perfect because I was kind of sitting there listening to it with Pam. We were in the back just kind of keeping our eyes on the goings on, and it really went over everything that she needed to hear. But that family lives in a place that has a lot of activity, and I have a feeling that it's kind of just wrapped around their family in general, no matter where they are.
It's
Maybe they
extended
attract
family
it.
for them too.
Yeah,
And she did. She shared with us last year
Mhm.
kind of the same goings on in the house, and she shared with us this year. And I hate that I feel bad because I accidentally deleted that.
Oh,
But it was kind of the same thing. There's shadow people involved. I don't remember what else was going on. Do you, Mark? I mean,
It ran a gambit.
yeah.
So
But her daughter's story is what really
that scared
spooked me. Yeah, it spooked
you
me.
may
I'm not
have to
gonna
give
lie.
her a call and set up another time to take her story by phone or something.
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that would really be one worth looking into or
Yeah.
documenting at least.
Chris put on there. I have her on Facebook. I could have her get in touch with you if you'd like. Yeah, one way or another.
I have her too.
Okay.
Yep.
She was one of my proofreaders when I had time to work on my novel. So
Awesome.
Gotcha. Hey guys, I'm gonna run downstairs for a second. I will be right back.
All right.
we will continue.
We get to talk about Phil behind his back.
Woo!
But yeah, I thought the Paracon went over really well.
Holy cow, it did. It went
Forward to
over
next
way
year.
better than I could have ever imagined.
I
I
was
met
thrilled.
so many great people that I want to keep in contact all the time with.
Yes, we've made so many new friends, which was the point. And I've noticed because a lot of the panelists have friended me over this last week.
I've gotten
And
several.
because you get, all of the notifications about what they're doing. And I have seen where they have linked up with other panelists. So and so
cool.
friended so and so, and
Well,
somebody
that was-
friended so and so.
Oh, I love it because I mean that's the whole reason this started was
That was the point.
yeah,
Yeah.
That was the
Get
point. But
people in
we
the
wanted,
community together.
well, Phil and I talk
Have
about it
fun,
all the time. We
basically.
wanted a community.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so this is a community that we decided to build.
And,
Yeah.
And it's working.
it is. It truly is.
And it's fantastic. I mean, there's no reason to feel. I remember 10 years ago when we all felt like, I don't want to talk about it because people's going to think I'm a weirdo. I mean, I am, but
I remember walking into that first meeting and being so hesitant and leary
yeah.
Mhm.
of just who was in the room with me, like,
When I put the hat on, though, the helmet cam hat, you knew you were more on the normal side than the abnormal side,
100%.
right?
yeah.
That was great.
These are my people.
Yeah. But the community we're building up is awesome. Like, I woke up the next morning, well, closer to afternoon because I was so tired. But I woke up to a slew of messages. One included the head of the chapter out of Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Yes.
Saying, "Oh my God, if I'd known about it, I would have been a panelist. Can I be a panelist next year?" And I was like, absolutely. And I went to his page to start to check him out. And I realized, I believe he has consulted on a lot of shows like Ghost Hunters and stuff. And he's friends with Darren Thompson, who was supposed to be down and give us the talk on equipment, but unfortunately couldn't make it.
Oh, I didn't
but he's friends with him.
Probably through Taps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, that's the one Shay had mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and he has a whole network in Arkansas that I didn't know about. It's like I complained to Pam about this when I was getting set up, and we were trying to look for some more panelists out of the Arkansas area because we had so few. I really wanted to fill that out. It was hard as heck trying to find a good chapter out of Arkansas. I couldn't find one, but as soon as this Paracon got over with, boy, a stream of them just became open to us.
Good.
They have a Paracon coming up here. I think it's around Halloween, though, isn't it?
It is. It's the 30th.
Yeah, it's too close to Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Just to let you guys know, I did send a message to Ben and Joe off the UFO garage, and put a bug in their ear saying, "Hey, I'll let you know when there's a set date, but you guys are invited."
That's fabulous.
Absolutely. I would love to have them. Panel.
So,
yeah,
that would be great.
Awesome. I know we were trying to look at dates for next year, which we want to keep it at the same time every year. And but next year fall's weird. I think there's like 5 Saturdays in September or something strange. I can't remember. So
it is weird.
Well, we have to make a decision on.
The problem is that so the Bigfoot convention happens the last weekend, sometimes in September, and we don't want to compete with that.
Right.
So we're going to probably wait a few weeks out and see if the Hanobia convention will go ahead and place their dates for the next year. And then we'll just make sure that we're the week before or the week after, but hopefully into September.
I just looked it up because this year we were on the National Ghost Hunting Day, and this just says the last Saturday in September. So that would put us on the 30th, I think is what the date was, but that may not work out with the Bigfoot conference.
With Novia.
Yeah, we'll have to.
Yeah. I never want to have to compete with another, especially one so close.
Right.
Yeah, that's within driving distance. That's not one we want to compete with.
No,
I was surprised
that's
how
what
far some of these
the year
came.
before is we ended it on the same day that the Bigfoot was, plus another little thing here in the area that I think it was Dalton Defenders Day or something.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are coming to Texas the first week in November.
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah, they're
You're
Ben and Joe
cast-iron.
are doing. Yeah, I'm gonna go down and cook breakfast for everybody on a campfire.
Nice.
Free breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the 4th.
We'll drive to Texas for that.
Yeah.
It's let me look. I think it's the weekend of the 4th. Yeah, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Ben and Joe are doing a kind of like a reunion type thing down in between Austin and San Antonio. And we're gonna make the trip down there. We're gonna kind of hang out. Ben, I think, is going to smoke some brisket. And I told him, we're like seriously in the egg business right now, so we'll go down and cook breakfast for everybody and just kind of hang out. Have a good time that weekend. So
Well, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can go, but I'm not sure how that's going to shake out.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I think it would be fun to do something like that up around here. Maybe maybe the weekend of the Paracon, do like a meet and greet kind of thing like that, but have everybody come hang out, go to the Paracon, just kind of hang out and all that stuff. I think it'd be fun, like kind of do a paranormal retreat or something like that would be awesome too.
I was talking to Christy today, and she's really hoping that that it's not a whole year before we all get together again, and that we can come up with something where we can get together, like maybe in 6 months or something.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. I'm losing my voice. Sorry.
I
That's
mean,
all right.
I'd have to get it cleared through my boss here, but I'd be all right with doing it out here. I mean, we could do it in the evening. I could light a big campfire, just kind of hang out.
Oh, that'd be fun.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to host it here. You know, if you guys wanted to do something like that, like a paranormal retreat or something.
That would
Because
be
what's cool
fun.
is, you know, you can have the backdrop of the coyotes, because coyotes are always howling out here. And, you know, and, you know, Jess, you've been out here. Obviously, Mark, you have, you know, but there's nobody around me.
Yeah.
Nice,
It's
clear,
quiet.
nice, clear skies. You know,
I'll be right
if
back.
you wanted to. Okay.
That'd
But
be
yeah,
really
I mean, if
cool.
they wanted to, you know, you kind of just sit back and sky watch. And I mean, I've seen a bunch of cool stuff in the sky out here on a really clear night.
Yeah, it's not a bad place.
I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of ideas burning in my head right now. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I would like to do, given time and money, of course. And
Right.
it'd
That's
be
my
kind of
big
cool.
that's my big obstacle to most things.
Yep.
So
But I mean, you know, I mean, Mark and I mean, we're always talking about building a community, but I don't see why it has to just be for taking care of each other. You know, it could be a paranormal community. It could be, I mean, you guys already have it. You guys already have
Yeah.
the group.
And that's what we were talking about earlier. So we always talk about building in a community, and that's what we've done with this Paracon is we've started building a community.
Absolutely.
And it's great. These are my people.
Right.
I mean, there's no doubt about I was meeting with my people.
Right.
It
And
was a blast. That day flew by so fast.
I don't think I've ever been a place with so many different people where I felt so at home.
Right.
I do
Never
know next year we're not cooking chicken and noodles. We are getting pizza or something.
Noah offered to get a flat top
Yeah.
and big burgers.
Oh, there we go. That'd be cool.
If you want to be in charge of all that food, you can, but that is not happening again. That was
I'll tell him.
that was a wow.
Shit, no.
It was good.
It was good, but yeah, I'm all for pizza. We're right next door to Pizza Hut.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We can walk them over.
Yeah.
exactly. Walk them over.
I have a wagon. We can take it over there and load it full of pizza and bring it back.
Right.
We don't even have to do that. We just haul them over there. We like everybody follow the leader. Grab a hand and let's serpentine.
Right out the back door. It's
Yeah,
like
I'm all
40
about. So
40 feet
I
from door to
love.
door.
I said if I'd have known y'all made chicken and noodles, I wouldn't have started them.
They were good, Andrea. They were good.
Oh, you guys got me in so much trouble. She's like,
Why?
you knew they were going to make chicken and noodles, didn't you? I said, no, I didn't know what they were going to make. You liar. You know?
He didn't know, Andrea.
I
That's
didn't
funny.
know.
Yeah,
I
was gonna say-
Feed everybody.
I loved having the green room. It was perfect. It was a perfect place for people to go and take a break in between their panels. And so many great conversations happened in that room.
They did.
We're definitely going to keep that, even if we're going to do like haul them over to Pizza Hut in the middle. It'll still be full of snacks and drinks for everybody to enjoy and just have a place to go relax and chill. But yeah, the conversations that happened in that room, I feel a little bad because the public kind of got left out of those better conversations, but it was solely because we all knew in our heads that they couldn't handle the depth
Right.
and the crazy that goes into our thinking.
Yes.
And so it would get kind of started on the panel. Like we would get excited about what we were talking about, and then the panel would end, and then we would go back to the greenie room and finish it in there.
Yeah, we needed.
That's
a bunch
the
of
one
couches in
downfall.
there. That's what we needed.
Was it Jason
I mean,
that was talking about being in the cemetery and the fog coming down? And I'm looking at Jess,
think
Jess
so.
looking at me, and we're both like, "Ooh, we know what that was." But you can't, you couldn't like bust out into it because we're just dipping our toes in the water right now and getting the community comfortable.
Yeah, the thing that kind of excites me about doing it next year and then the year after that, we're going to get a little bit deeper and more complicated with our topics. So this year, I feel like we really kind of elementary schooled it because it was the first time we knew we had a chance to have a large number of people come in. And I'm kind of happy with how many we had come in. It wasn't an over massive amount, but it was way more than what I thought would come. So it's kind of perfect. But we had to keep.
We had, what we have, 54 that were signed up, that were pre-registered, and we had 50 or 60, I can't remember exact number, that signed in when they came in the door.
Mm-hmm. So, and then us, the panelists, and all of the help, it was nearing 150.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there was a good crowd.
Yeah.
It was a great crowd.
It was. And,
yeah. So,
and what I noticed, it seemed like most of them stayed all day.
A lot of
them
did.
That's what I was surprised about, how long some of them really stayed, or like left for lunch and came back. I didn't think that so many would come back. In fact, I think the second panel after lunch was bigger than the first panel in the morning.
It might have been.
Yeah, we had a bunch of people on the lives.
We had a bunch. Yeah, that's true. We had at least 70 or more on some of the lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So yeah, it was really good.
And how engaged they were.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was impressed with how engaged the public was.
Yeah, like I said, that was our intentions all along. Keep the public involved, make them a part of the panels. If they open up and talk, and this becomes a yearly thing, just think about how much they would open up, and we'll get all these fantastic stories, and I'll be able to catalog more on the ley lines and file some data like crazy, and it'll only push our investigative work over. It can't dampen it whatsoever. I think I'm excited.
I am too. And hopefully, as much work as went into this year, the templates off of this year will keep everything not quite so overwhelming next year.
Yeah, Jess almost lost it.
She did. She was
so tired.
I'm so sorry. I did not have enough time to help more than I did.
It is no one's fault but my own. It's only because if something needs to be run, then I want it to be run correctly, and I overdo it. And I sat there and made sure every minute detail that could come up would be taken care of.
You did.
It's just Jess.
You knocked it out of the park.
Well, thank you. I think I overdid it. But like Pam said, next year, we already have the template laid out. I saved everything. Everything's been cataloged and put into order in a file. Mm-hmm. So next year when we start to work on this, it's literally going to be fill in the blank.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife said, I need to know what ley lines run around our house.
Totally come out there and map ley lines around their house. That'd be fun.
Yeah. She, because that was the first she'd heard about it, because I don't talk a lot about this stuff, mainly because my kids are usually downstairs. And they're 5 and 7. So
yeah,
I don't freak them out. And there's some things we do talk about, some things we don't, but I don't keep them totally in the dark, but it's really never come up in conversation. And when you guys were talking about it at the Paracon, plus my wife said she's a scaredy cat.
It's all right.
But yeah, she's like, what are those? I said, they're like the energy grid almost type thing, and
that's exactly what it is.
And she's like, she found that really interesting. It seemed like, so
it is a fascinating subject.
Mm-hmm. I love ley lines.
That's what's cool about the paranormal, though. I mean, maybe it's because I've lived with it all my life that I find it intriguing, but there seems to always be something under that umbrella. That's that big umbrella we're talking about again, that somebody latches onto, whether it be Bermuda Triangle or ghosts or UFOs. I mean, there's always seems to be a niche that somebody clings to, even if they don't think about anything else. If they're not even really into the paranormal, but something will catch them and draw them in.
Well, it's like
that's what I find interesting about it.
It's like that poll I was talking about. Most of the numbers, when you went through it, like 20% believe in this, 20% believe in that, 10% believe this. We added all up the numbers, 75% of everybody polled, or 73%, I believe it was, believes in something paranormal.
Yeah. I mean, for instance, I've never been huge on Bigfoot, but when I first started hearing about Dogman, it's like, what is this? And it drew me in.
Right.
I'm like, this.
I think we need to take Phil to the cemetery.
I think we do too.
Yes.
100%.
Well, I've taken him there for UFOs, so because it's such a clear spot to see, so he knows where it's at.
We need to take Christy back out there. I was telling her all the changes that had gone on out there, and she's like, "You're kidding me."
Yeah. And the ghosts that are in our house that said hi right after we moved in.
They will do that.
At least it's friendly.
Let's go. I don't know who's Facebook user. I'm not sure who you are. Again, if you could please go give StreamYard the go ahead to show us who you are, please.
Or better yet, just get onto YouTube.
Yeah, because StreamYard, for whatever reason, is not letting me sign.
When I tried, I couldn't.
Oh, Sarah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, it's Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah. We missed you at the Paracon.
We did. You were the only kid missing. The whole group was back together.
Yeah.
Except for Sarah.
Oh, it made my heart so happy. I walked into the green room at one point to grab a drink really fast. And Eric and Raven and Noah were just hanging out together, chit-chatting. And I was like, "Aw, I haven't seen that in years."
Of course, that'd be my fun. I don't care if the IRS sends Bigfoot. I won't be paying my taxes. But yeah, I'm game. I mean, I would love to do it. Like I said, I mean, you all have heard my stories. I mean, I've grown with this, and here, and yeah, I'm game. Well, as I've got time, I'll do it. I don't care.
we've all had that point in time where we just latched onto the one thing and wouldn't let go. We've said it time after time again. Back in 2012, when we all came together, we were hardcore ghosts. All of us had maybe a little something extra. Like, I know that Mark kind of really liked interdimensional kind of stuff, but it wasn't really a part of our theories. It was just something he mentioned occasionally. And Pam really liked the Fae and would kind of occasionally toss it in a little bit that might have a little something to do with that. I was all about, I was all about Native American, Native Indian lore and legend, and kind of how that kind of, but over the years, for Bigfoot example, we were not Bigfoot people until just a few years ago.
Yeah, not really.
And I remember when it changed over, it was my fault. In fact, I got the worst look from some of my peeps here. That cemetery that I mentioned, we were having some activity at that we couldn't explain, rocks getting thrown at us.
Really?
Yeah. And I believe that Mike told the story about his recorder getting turned off at the cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that grunt, and then you hear it get fiddled with and get it turned off. We were having all sorts of problems up in there, and it didn't ever occur to me. Yeah, Bigfoot are always blurry. We don't know why. It's just how they are, I guess.
They say about Bigfoot, blurry pictures.
Well, you can't drive.
We were having these problems, and I happened to be reading a book that had brought up Bigfoot and kind of how they were often found around cemeteries in Indian folklore, because in a lot of tribes, they are considered kind of the carriers that take the living to the dead realm when they pass.
Gotcha.
They're their safe journey, right? They're their safe journey, and they're the protectors of children in far more than they're bad in other tribes. Right. And I was like, oh, cemeteries, Bigfoot. And I went back and was researching Bigfoot, and all the things that had been happening to us there were very much related to Bigfoot. So I started delving back into local, especially like Osage legend and stuff, because Osage and the Kansa were really deep in this area here. And they had the same thing. Bigfoot protected cemeteries, and they took the living to the dead side when they passed. They were like their protection. And I was like, so maybe whatever is there is protecting that cemetery, and we're hopping in on its territory, and it's basically just trying to scare us off. And the minute I told them that, I remember we were on a trip to go investigate somewhere, and I was telling them about this book that I read and what my thoughts were on it. And they all had to look like, oh, interesting. Well, that's interesting. And I was like, oh my God, they think I'm nuts.
That's all right. We're all nuts. It's fine.
Yeah. But I spread the nuttiness around, and now we're all nutty.
Hey.
Well,
Yep. Sarah said she got full body
generals.
chills when you said protectors of children.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. So you can go into like missing 411, and all of those children that said like the bear or whatever kept them warm at night.
Yes, it does.
Quite a few of them.
The bear fed me. The bear made sure I was warm.
Yep.
The bear made sure I was okay.
Or the hairy man or whatever they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My wife said they're blurry because they have the ability to make themselves invisible at will.
Or they're not quite in this dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you read, there's a really cool set of books called what is it? Footprints in the
Where the Footprints End.
Where the Footprints End. And it just has an amazing amount of stories. But in it is a whole section on how big feet might be interdimensional, and they're not completely on our plane at that time.
Yes.
It would make sense.
So, because they're like, they would almost be made up of something just a little bit different than what we are. So what our equipment would normally pick up wouldn't quite pick them up because they're not of the same dimensions.
The vibrations would be different.
Yeah.
Exactly. So interesting.
It is. I've gotten more into Bigfoot since my wife and I went down to Ho Chi Town here. Was it 2 years ago?
I think it was
I want
2
to say a
years
couple
ago.
years ago. And I was trying to find somebody to come on the show. I mean, we did get directed to a guy I haven't called, but I need to. But he was on Animal Planet, their Bigfoot show with Bobo and all that, you know. But I wasn't really into it until I got down there and seen how ingrained in the culture down there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, it's a tourist trap now. I mean, it's people go down to go camp and go to the lake, you know, the Broken Bow Lake or whatever it is, and all that. But what stood out to me the most is my wife and I were in a restaurant. It was a little just off the side of the road, a little mom and pop restaurant, like a little hole in the wall place. And I asked the waitress, I said, you know, and told her who I was, you know, and I was part of, you know, have a podcast, and I was looking for people who have experienced Bigfoot. And a lot of the older people started laughing. Right. Oh, he's just a legend, you know, yada, yada, yada. You know, I expected something. You know, I didn't go into it, you know, being naive, thinking that nobody's going to laugh or nothing like that. But, you know, I'm generally curious. Well, this old man was sitting at a table, and his demeanor just changed. And he went quiet. He didn't say anything, but I could read it just on his face. That man has seen something. You could just tell by his demeanor, you know, because he was, you know, wearing hunting boots. I mean, I think all the locals down there, they're big into hunting and all that stuff.
Of course, they're going to run into him if he's out there.
Right. And, well, I mean, obviously they were, because he came inside from having this kid shoot a damn rifle right out back of the restaurant. You know, I mean, it's like far western Arkansas. But no, I mean, it really piqued my interest when he went silent. And I was like, man, this guy's got something, but he's not willing to share it. I mean, you know how you just pick that up off people? I don't know, but it was weird, to say the least. You know, then we ran into a guy at a winery, you know, one of the guys behind the counter. We were talking. I asked everybody, you know, and he said, yeah, I've seen it. At least I think that's what it was. You know, going down the highway, I saw it on the side of the road. And He said, I can't say for 100% that's what it was, but he said, I believe that's what it was. And just like Brian and the guys, the Bigfoot guys, were talking down there, when they had that encounter, and I thought it was hilarious. It sounded like juveniles coming in, but he's like, oh crap, I stepped on a stick, or whatever. I died when he was talking about that, the grunt. And
that was funny.
But yeah, down there, I mean, it's nothing but woods down there.
It is.
So it makes sense.
Everybody's like, well, there's not enough wooded areas in the United States for them to hide in. Yes, there is.
Yeah, there is.
There sure is.
Yeah.
There's more woods than there are cities.
Yeah, there's a bunch, especially down that area and out in the Ouachita Mountains and, all along that area. There's tons of spots.
Oh, yeah.
And I do believe, cave systems have a lot to do with it too. I think that's probably why they're so prevalent.
There's a lot more heavily wooded area around here than a person would think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my wife, she wrote and said it's like people would kind of look at each other before they answered us, and they would.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checking on each other to see if it was okay to say something or.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna say.
Oh, I know. I've been in that.
I've
been in that before.
Yeah.
But again, it's that stigma that comes along with the paranormal, and I think it's becoming easier. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's easing up. Speaking of that, I was so excited today. I went to Woolaroc, and for anybody who's listening doesn't know what that is, Frank Phillips from Phillips Petroleum created a animal refuge out west of Bartlesville that's just full of buffalo and antelope and any kind of animal you can think of. And it's a huge museum out there, and it's just fantastic. But we had gone out there for lunch today because they have a really cool little diner there now. And we went in for lunch, and we decided to hit the gift shop on our way out and see if there was anything new in there. And it made my heart so happy because there was so much Bigfoot and alien stuff in that gift shop.
Sweet.
Really?
Nice.
There was it just so much of it. They've really embraced it. And I mean, it had Woolaroc written on these t-shirts that had alien stuff in it. And I was like, that's pretty dang awesome.
Sweet.
In fact, I took a picture. I took a picture of a t-shirt I really, really want. Let's see if I can get it up here. Can you see it? It says Finders Keepers.
Oh, I like that.
Woolaroc Ranch.
That's cool.
I should have gotten it. I'll probably get it the next time I go.
I picked this up down there in Hochatown.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a cool little figurine, but I picked up my daughter a stuffed Bigfoot. I mean, that's their claim to fame down there. And
yeah.
It's a cool place. I would recommend anybody going just to hang out for the weekend. There's not a lot to do. It's just a cool place to go relax and hang out.
Well, drive around Canyon, you'll find Bigfoot silhouettes on people's houses.
Can you guys see the sticker?
You didn't lose it.
Yep.
I know. We're like so deep into it. That's on the back of my phone.
Ooh, I like that.
Believe.
Cool. Yeah, we still have a bunch of stickers.
Yeah.
What's cool is while kind of doing some studying, I guess, trying to learn about Dogman, and I'd heard one guy's story, I think it was up in Alaska, because like Bigfoot, now you hear them more out everywhere instead of just up in like Michigan and stuff like that, where they were first supposedly sighted. But you have the Rougarou or the Lougarou or whatever down in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard this story from this guy up, I think it was in Alaska, or if not, it was in the Pacific Northwest, where he come up on a Dogman and a Bigfoot fighting, like over territory or something, your food or whatever it was.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it was like I was saying in the panel, dogmen are very prevalent in Kansas. I've got tons of stories about dogmen, and we just, I had mentioned the one that I'd heard just, oh gosh, I think it was last spring is when I got to hear about the story up by Salina, the lady who drove off the road to take a break and ran into one right there at the Four Corners, and it almost put on a show for her.
Mm-hmm.
Poor lady was so scared to death, she could hardly get turned around to get back up on the highway.
Yeah.
So
See, I haven't heard any from Kansas. I think I heard of one maybe up around Kansas City. But
They have them
heard
really
any
thick
others.
around Salina. There's another part. There's really thick around near Hutchison, and there's a butt ton by Garden City.
You know
Could
what?
be the same one. I don't know.
I'm
Garden
thinking
City's
of
pretty
the
far out there,
person
though.
that said the Bigfoot and Dogman, they saw him fighting. If they're territorial, they may not really be in this area if there's more Bigfoot around here, you know?
Right.
Or if they do, they just pass through.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
But now, I mean, this is kind of going to touch conspiracy. I mean, but we're already on the subject. So I did hear one story of this guy was like a train conductor. And he got called up to do some special run. You know, it was his day off or weekend off or whatever, but they had to have this run. It was basically financed by the U.S. government. But he went down to South America and was running this train up to the United States. And apparently there was dogmen or something involved because they were being chased going up the track by dogmen, and come to find out they'd busted one out of one of the cars. So they were hauling them up.
Ooh.
It's kind of interesting. I don't know whether to believe it or not. I don't know. But I've heard a lot of stories from South America. Like there were smaller ones, you know, like the size of a man, you know, but they were like, they didn't quite look like wolves, but they attacked a prison and killed a bunch of guards and stuff down there.
Well, that could be where the
Wow.
werewolf
So I don't know.
legends
I mean-
come from.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be.
And
I hadn't heard that story. That's interesting.
you know, I can see our government trying to engineer some or turn them into weapons. They try to weaponize everything. I'm sure they've weaponized a toothbrush if you look hard enough.
Well, they've
Oh my
weaponized
goodness,
lipstick tubes and everything else,
Yeah, why not?
you know, for
Right.
the CIA.
Let's go. Let's go catch us some dogmen and weaponize them and use them against. the
Well,
Chinese.
Right.
they weaponize people, so
Yeah, they
why
do.
wouldn't they?
Why not?
Yep.
You know, I mean, why not?
What the hell? We got money. We're stealing it from the American people. We can make whatever we want.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a weirdo.
Midget Bigfoot.
My
Midget
son.
Bigfoot.
Midget Bigfoot. Small feet.
That's funny.
Hairy butt.
Yeah.
Actually, there are midget Bigfoot.
Yeah,
In the
that'd be fun
hills
to see.
outside of Tahlequah, there is supposedly an entire tribe of little Bigfoot. They're actually all 5 feet and under. I'm not joking.
Huh.
They've been there for years. It's part of the Tahlequah legend. Like there's a whole section of hills they don't go into because it's dangerous.
Huh. Would that be
They're very-
like
yeah.
little people or something like that? Would that fall along that legend? Of the little people or whatever?
No.
They could absolutely might be
No?
a tribe of fae, you know.
I don't know. They said they look exactly like Bigfoot, only little, like midget Bigfoot.
You know, I've always wondered if Bigfoot
Interbreeding.
weren't fae themselves with their ability to, you know, move in and out of dimensions or whatever they're doing, you know, become invisible.
They
whatever
may
they're-
be our generation's fae, you know.
Mhm.
I mean,
I think
Could be.
it's just like I always say, like, you know, it depends on which generation you are in and which country you're from, what it is you're going to call it.
That's
Yeah,
very
I mean,
true.
from what you're expecting.
I mean,
Exactly.
look at some of the stories, you know, and the folklore that's come up in our area that we were able to dispel, or, you know, like the hangman tree. It has become quite the story within the last probably 5-6 years.
Yeah. And it's like I said at the Paracon, if these kids really hold true to this and become scared of that tree and really hold that, will they create a tulpa out of it? And will that tree actually
will,
become
yes.
Right.
the haunted hanging tree?
I think we should have a panel on Tulpa, just Tulpa.
That would
Yeah.
be interesting.
That's what I was saying earlier. I'm excited about future Paracons because we're going to get to spread our wings a little bit and start introducing some really interesting topics to the public. This one was really just a feeler, you know, let's
Mhm.
introduce some really simple basics and get them interested. And then we can start kind of rolling out the stuff we're truly interested in. Because I felt a little bit bad because you could tell our panelists were really kind of hampered by how simplistic the subject started.
Yeah.
Because, they're like, well, what way do you want to go with that? And I was like, you have to remember we have the public involved. You're really going to have to keep it simple and straightforward and keep your verbiage simplistic. You can't be going at it with,
We can get everybody together. You maybe out at Phil's or something and actually deep dive some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
Well, like I said, like the green room became like the after party for the panels. Like that's when we really started discussing what it was we were wanting to discuss. But then, we had to move on to the next panel right away. So
get us a campground down here at one of the lakes and pull in a bunch of RVs and just make a weekend of it.
Copan, yeah.
Yeah, or Elk City or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Elk City or Copan, either one. You're close to all the stores.
We really did. It's hard when you talk like we do, on a daily basis to really bring yourself back down to the public's level. You've really got to rethink out how you're talking and what they can understand and what they can fathom.
And put it in terms that they understand. Yeah,
exactly.
I agree with that approach though, because I mean, because people are hesitant anyway, like we talked earlier, they're hesitant about coming forward with an experience or their beliefs or whatever. But if you keep it simple, they might latch. I think they would latch on easier, like they did. I mean, there were several people that I was looking. It's like, man, I mean, a lot of people came out and I don't know the lady. I don't really know many people there, but the lady that was sitting over on the bleachers, I mean, she really seemed to be into it and knowledgeable about what she was talking about. And she seemed to be actually helping explain what the panel was talking about.
She's actually just moved recently from California. She comes in the library and she purchased a house here in town. Yeah. I can't remember her name, but yeah, I did recognize her.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a great approach.
Future Paracons.
I'm sure they were thrilled to find like-minded people in the area, especially when you come to Caney and it's so conservative feeling to it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I was shocked at some of the people I saw walk in there. I was like, no way, that lady.
And there was more that I was surprised didn't show up that said that they were going to, that I was surprised they held any interest at all. So, yeah.
Right.
So
I'd like to see it become a multi-day event.
Yeah.
Calm down. Calm down, Mark.
We'll have to hire
a little at a time.
Okay. Sunday's on you, dude. Sunday's your dog and pony show. Yeah.
If you want to pay for multiple days at the venue, you can do that.
Well, I think that's where
that lottery one.
Anybody that's
listening,
we'll
get it going.
Someone left us a huge donation, and we absolutely have no idea who it was, and we 100% appreciate it because we funded everything out of pocket.
Yeah, that's going to help so much next year.
Yes, we just put it in the kitty for next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So excited. Yeah, but we want to grow it. So who knows what's going to happen next year? Whether it's a 2 or a 3 day thing, I don't know if we can handle that quite yet, but we're getting there. That's right. You're dead to me. 3-day Paracon, man.
Well, we get to that point, I will take on a day.
Now, I already have some ideas for maybe next year, and we're going to have a meeting coming up here soon to kind of discuss anything that didn't quite go well or what we could do better, or just a general kind of touch base. And I was kind of thinking about maybe putting a call out on our Facebook page to ask if anybody had any opinions on maybe how we could run it better, or something we could change, or something we could add next year.
We can
just to kind of get a general feeling for what people thought. Although while I was there, we got lots of compliments. I was really happy. People kept telling me how professional it seemed.
Yeah,
that they had walked in expecting a little small town, like people just talking about paranormal stuff, and that it would just, just like in a church sanctuary or something like that, And they were like, we can't believe how professional it is. It's like, it's run like you'd see on TV. And I was like, yay.
Right?
That was the
Eric
idea.
was like, if you guys would invest in some seat cushions and put our logo on them, he's like, this would have sold like hotcakes because everybody was wiggling.
People did bring in. Did you see the guys that brought in their stadium seats?
Yeah, I saw that.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they were setting up on the risers in the back. They brought in their full rigs, like their full stadium seats with the little arms and everything. They were super comfy up there.
Yeah,
Hey, that's what matters.
I'm going to
I
bring my big man's lawn chair, my big fold-out chair.
I brought my chair, man, and I'm so glad I did.
Yeah, the seats aren't the best, but they came with the venue, so.
Yeah, they were free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain. I wish Eric would have felt more comfortable. He would have been really good to put on the equipment stuff, because he did say afterwards, Mark, that he was really impressed at how well you did on the equipment things from his engineer brain point of view. He said you did an excellent job. Yeah. And I was like, why didn't you could have chimed in? And he was like, no, I will come run your live feeds. I will not talk. Okay.
Well, not everybody's comfortable talking, so
No, he's not.
it's okay.
No, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Levi said, if you guys are looking for a few new people to talk to, I'd see if I can get into contact with a bunch called Paranormal Punchers. All they do are legends and myths.
Cool. I haven't heard of them.
No.
I haven't either.
Are they like boxers, or do they box ghosts, or the punchers?
That's some serious spiritual warfare there.
By golly.
I only heard one complaint, and it wasn't really a complaint. It was just like, yeah, I wish you would let kids 10 or 12 and younger in. And we were like, there's a reason why we don't. So
I mean,
it's not good.
I agree with that.
I don't think that kids under that age need to be hearing some of the stuff that I would like our panelists to be able to freely talk about.
Yeah, you don't want to scare them.
Yeah. Second of all,
ones. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't want the panelists to have to watch their language.
Although I will admit, everybody was very well behaved when it came to cursing.
They were.
I was shocked.
And third of all, no one wants to be in the middle of a very interesting topic on a panel and have a baby crying.
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
It's one of my. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, and people will go to those things and use it as a babysitter and just let their kids run wild. Yep. And I don't want to have to be the person that escorts them out, but I will freaking do it. So it better not to have them in there in the first place than just rampage through grabbing kids by their skulls and chucking them out. Because I will. I won't put up with that bullshit. I never did that. When my kid,
crap, I'm gonna start.
When my kid was little, I did not take her to inappropriate places.
Yeah, I didn't. Either.
If somebody was paying money to hear somebody speak, there was not a child with me. Because children have, they have cranky times, they have upset times, just like we do, and that's just how they show that. Yeah. And that is not their fault, but it certainly is their parents' fault for putting them in that situation.
Yes.
So
I agree with that.
Rather, I will parent for them by telling them that they can't have their children in there. So shoot me if you want to. That's how I feel.
Yep.
You don't do that.
The tarot reader, she was amazing.
Lindsay.
Cool. Lindsay, yes. I liked her so much. I didn't get a chance to get a reading, but I want to.
My wife and I, we went out and got one done. The short reading or whatever it was, like the $10 one or whatever. It was pretty cool. I mean,
was it?
I don't remember what all we got, but it was basically told me I need to open up more emotionally because I'm really closed off, and use more emotion to make decisions because I'm more factual based. I was like, I am who I am,
That's awesome.
But it was kind of cool. She said, just keep doing what you're doing though, with like the present, because one of the cards was past, one was present, one was future. And she said, just keep doing what you're doing, and it'll take off, and just make good decisions using some emotion, and stuff like that. So it was kind of cool.
She had quite a line. I think she probably did pretty well that day.
Yeah. I don't know who this is.
I brought my kids, and the youngest is 17. I don't know if I should have brought them. Oh, absolutely. So 12 and over, they are quite able to take care of themselves. That's what I'm really worried about. And I think 12 is a perfect time to be introducing them to like some deeper paranormal stuff.
That was probably about the time I got into when I read Chariots of the Gods and really got into my weird stage.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, if you think about it, so like we have all loved paranormal our whole lives. If you really think back, when did you really start kind of forging out on your own when it came to any paranormal anything? Like Mark, you said you love to go explore old abandoned buildings. I used to love to drive my bike over the cemetery and just hunt through the rows. It's the age of 11, 12, 13 that you really start forging out on your own. And if they come to the Paracon and they learn about things like proper use of equipment, or they hear different kind of stories and how the paranormal kind of works on different levels, it'll really help them when they're forging out on their own. If I wished I'd had somebody to help me when I was that age. Right. And was really starting to explore everything that was happening around me. If I'd had just a little bit more knowledge rather than just the books I found in the library,
Right.
And Caleb, I think it's great that Caleb, I think it's great that you brought your kids, especially at that age, because I'm sure it was interesting to them to find out that there's a community out there of people that think along these lines to. If they do have an interest, they don't have to feel so alone about it.
Yeah. Yeah. For every,
I thought I was, I always thought I was the weird kid. Well, I was the weird kid, but I was always interested, always reading. I think Chariots of the Gods was one of the first books that I read too, Mark.
I mean,
Mysteries of the Unexplained, was it Timeline?
To this day, it's made a huge impact. I mean, I don't know why I don't have a copy of it right now. I guess I need to get on there and
there's a
need to get a hardback.
There's a PDF on our in our drive.
Yeah, but I want the book.
I know. I have a copy of the book. It's paperback and old, but I have it.
With the photos in the middle.
Good. Your youngest loved it. I'm so glad. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up a point. For every kid, and when I say kid, I mean 12 and up, that comes to our Paracon or any type of situation like that, they will forever go about knowing that the paranormal is something real, because that's their formative years. You can't sit through 1 or 2 panels without being changed a little bit. And that's when
they're not alone.
They will know they're not alone. And that's one more person who is open to that for the rest of their lives. Right. So if we get to help one person, then we've done something. We're never going to figure all this out, and we're never going to have all the answers, but at least we gave one more person the option of having their minds opened.
Well, if we create a world of seekers, then something is going to be found.
Yeah.
I mean, seeking ye shall find. You can't seek it by yourself. It takes a community.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I think we probably ought to start wrapping up.
Oh yeah,
it's been fun. We could talk for hours on this. I mean,
we could.
That's why I put banter up there.
Oh yeah, I was so excited about the banter.
Because I knew
it's like a little. Go. It's like Phil's turning into a little old man. I get to do some banter.
Some jibber jabber.
Yep.
And the shirts, Phil and Andrea.
Oh,
phenomenal!
Thank you.
You guys need to offer those on your site so we can start pushing people that way. I still have people asking.
Yes.
if you happen to have that in you next year, like you feel the great need to design us a new Paracon shirt, or even use that same one and just put Paracon 2022 or 23 on it.
Yeah.
People wanted it so bad. My
did.
mother was running that table, and she was like, they can't quit asking for it. They keep begging me to sell them the ones that are on the table, and I keep telling them I can't because it's their door prizes. People wanted that shirt so badly. So
Well,
yeah, get that put up on your site so we can offer a link to it.
Yeah, we'll get it. Yeah, I'll get it straightened out for the website. I'm thinking next year, throw it up on the website. Plus, do you guys have a website for the Paracon, or is it just your?
It's
group's
built
website?
into our website. Yeah, there's a page for it on our website.
I'm thinking, maybe get you set up with a marketplace and give you guys the design and have it put up on yours. That way it'll help pay for the Paracon.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I don't mind. I'm glad to help.
All the passwords.
I mean, I'm like I said, I'm happy to help out any way I can. I don't mind doing the work. I didn't mind doing what I did. I'm happy to do it, because I want to see you guys. Yeah, pre-orders. That'd be a good idea. I don't mind at all. I mean, I'm happy to do it, and
you did
if it helps you guys grow, I do appreciate it. Real quick, Levi just put up. He said my apartment's haunted 100%. I got my verification a week or two ago when one of my posters on the wall started swaying side to side a little bit. I used those removable adhesive strips on the two top corners of the poster, so I know it shouldn't have swayed the way it did.
Nice.
He said then this morning there was knocking on his bathroom door. Cool.
That is cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do something like that.
I like it.
Maybe we'll do something like that next year to kind of help start driving funds and stuff for the Paracon, because you guys are going to grow.
Yeah.
You guys always have an open venue here. You guys know that. You don't even need to ask. We enjoy having you guys on. I mean, we like I said, we pretty much call you our part-time co-host. So, and then we're definitely going to have you guys on with Odd House. I mean, and that's going to open up a whole new.
That's exciting.
Spectrum.
Yeah.
So definitely, you guys. We want you guys to be part of that. I mean, you guys have been a huge part of it, helping us grow, and we definitely want you guys to be a part of this too. So, and like I said, that'll be more we can push out there and get more people involved, and maybe come from farther away.
So that would be awesome. Yeah, that's one thing we should have done this year. We should have found out who came from the furthest away. I know we had a couple from Arc City.
Yes.
Yes. Cool. And I actually didn't know them, but they were friends of my brother.
Oh,
no,
yeah, that's right. That lady. And her dad her dad spoke quite a bit.
He did. Really nice people.
So anyway, I mean, like I said, we carry this on for hours. No problem.
We have.
And we have, yeah. But I need to go eat dinner. I haven't eaten dinner yet. So
he's gonna dry up and blow away.
No, I'm not. I got plenty, trust me.
Same.
But ladies, thank you again so much for joining us. We always enjoy it. So
anytime. It's
like
fun.
I said, it is a good time. And like I said, I'd like to get you guys back on sometime next month to talk about the Native American legends and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And like I said, definitely want to do something for Halloween because it is that time of year, and go from there.
Yeah, fun.
But everybody, thank you so much for joining us. I know it went a little longer, and that's okay. I mean, it's been a lot of fun talking to the ladies, just kind of in the banter, the whole, Levi, this has already been talked about. I don't want your opinion.
Costumes.
Definitely. We're all for it.
I'll come as
Gotta
the
get
drunk.
that on board.
Yeah, easy.
You'll come
Yeah.
as the drunk.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll come as like the train hobo with her whiskey.
Cut me in on
Her-
some of that
her
action.
moonshine.
That'll be a fun episode.
I'll be the pipe of the lardy.
Or just on the
Yeah,
fringe
and then
when everybody is drinking.
maybe,
Oh,
yeah, maybe we need to do like a what is it, a Cinco de Mayo show or
Off the
something like
wagon.
Oh, that would be
that.
fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
instead of on the fringe, it'll be off the
Then
wagon.
Then we pick a buzzword, and every time somebody says it, we take a shot. And
Everybody's got to
See how
drink.
far
Better
it
hang on to
goes.
that, Jose.
But yeah,
We'll take
Anyway,
a drink
folks.
every time Phil says banter. We'll be good and drunk by now.
Oh yeah.
Banter,
But
and it's all connected. That would be another good one.
that would be a good
There
one.
you go. There you go.
But yeah, folks, thanks again for hanging out with us and joining the chat. We enjoy the chat with you all. It just adds another dynamic to the show. And really, pretty much that's all I've got tonight. So, folks, thanks again for listening, and we will catch you next episode.
Y'all have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.